Please welcome Deputy Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs at the VA, Terrence Hayes.
Hey, Terrence, how are you?
Good to see you, my friend.
Hey. Okay, so you've worked at the VA for a while. You were there from what I know from day one of VA Secretary McDonough.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that experience. What did you learn?
Learned a lot. My longevity just says that the boss couldn't find anything else for me to do.
Right.
So, but no, it's been the honor of a lifetime. Being a 20-year Army combat veteran, I believe in veterans taking care of veterans, and being able to serve as the spokesperson for our second largest agency means a lot to me. But most of all, it allows me to be able to have those two-way conversations with our veterans and hear from our veterans, and then take that feedback back to the boss and to our team to actually implement change at VA. And that's what we've been able to do.
As you know, VA issues don't always attract headlines. They're not usually on the front page. Explain that process, how you've worked with the media. And listen, just like in movies, there's got to be conflict for a story, and media likes conflict. And certainly there is conflict sometimes.
Absolutely.
But compared to other agencies, not so much. So what did you learn about working with the media and how they tell the story of what's going on at the agency?
Yeah, Bob, I think what I learned immediately when I took the job is that, I wanted to sit down and meet with our press colleagues, kind of learn how we could communicate better with them, how we could use them as that platform to engage and educate our veterans. So I sat down with every single one of our national beat reporters, one-on-one. And again, just to build that relationship and sometimes rebuild that relationship. I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, because prior to us coming on board, we've had 11 secretaries, and this is the first secretary, Secretary McDonough, to actually conduct press conferences on a monthly basis to account to the American taxpayer, to account to members of Congress, and of course to account to our veterans. So, and then we've even expanded it even further. Now we have our undersecretaries meeting with the press on a monthly basis. Of course, I chat with the press on a daily basis in my team. So being able to reestablish that relationship was critical in order for us to actually educate our veterans on the great things that we're doing at VA.
Let's talk about the great things you're doing at VA. What are you and the Secretary most proud of?
I think we're most proud that more veterans than ever before are coming to get their care and receiving their benefits in VA's history. That should be a barometer of what our success has been. But as Secretary McDonough says often, our veterans will be the judge of that. But also, until every veteran and survivor has received the benefits that they've earned, we're not going to stop. So our mission is not complete. We are excited about the great things we've done. I know the ranking member mentioned the PACT Act. We are very excited about what the PACT Act has done for veterans and surviving families. But again, there's so much more work for us to do to ensure that every single veteran who was impacted by burn pits, by Agent Orange, by many other toxic substances because of their service receives what's due to them, and quite frankly, what they deserve. So we're gonna keep pushing the gas until our last 60 or so days are left to ensure that these veterans are taken care of.
Going to the PACT implementation, that certainly, legislation gets the headlines, the implementation less so. How is the implementation going, and where does it go from here?
Yeah, I will say this, that implementation has been going well. I think what a lot of veterans and a lot of the American public doesn't understand about the PACT Act is that it was supposed to be a phased-in approach. And I mean, when I say phased in, many of the benchmarks weren't supposed to be hit until like 2032 and beyond. President Biden and Secretary McDonough said, no, that's unacceptable. Many of these veterans, and again, our surviving families, have waited entirely too long. So when the president signed the bill into law August of 2022, everything was on deck right then and there. Now, the great thing is that Secretary McDonough and VA had been planning for that, and we anticipated that. So we had mass hirings to where we had the proper clinicians on deck, but also the individuals who adjudicate claims. So we were ready to implement that. Are there hiccups? Of course. Anything that's that large scale is going to have some hiccups along the way. But I'll tell you this, we've been able to deliver more than $7.9 billion in earned benefits in only the first 2 years to a little over 1.3 million veterans and survivors. And we're just touching the surface. And we've had individuals on the claim side of the house who have done record numbers on a daily basis. So we're definitely doing the job. And then we have team members who are volunteering for overtime to ensure that we're getting the benefits to our wonderful veterans as quickly as possible. So we're doing a lot of work. We're very proud of the PACT Act, but again, there's still more work to do.
I want to give you a chance to respond. Senator Moran was talking about the budget shortfall controversy. I know you've taken some media calls on that.
Yes.
Why did that happen? What's the latest on that?
Yeah, I'm not going to get kind of ahead of that. I know we'll be meeting with the senator next week to testify on the Hill on that. So I'm not going to get ahead of that. But again, I'll tell you this, and this is, again, very important for your audience to understand, is that we're going to do everything we can to deliver on that promise of getting the benefits and care that the veterans deserve. And that's what we're doing. We're dedicated to doing that. And we're going to work with our members of Congress to do that, with our veteran service organizations to ensure that we're doing that. And to all those veterans out there, your VA is going to continue to shift how they operate to fit into your lives, so you're not having to fit and adjust your lives into the VA system.
That's a pretty good answer. You've been doing this a while, haven't you? Advice for the next administration is part one of the question. Number two, what do you think the President-elect Trump should be looking for? A lot of speculation, a lot of articles out there who could be the next VA secretary. What qualities should that person have?
Yeah, we're going to be getting ready to work with the transition team in the next few days or so.
Okay.
So we're definitely going to have those conversations with those new team members who are going to assume the post at VA. And we're going to just continue to just let them know that the number one thing that they need to do and to ensure that their North Star is everything needs to be veteran-centric.
Okay.
And that's what, again, the Secretary has demanded of us. And we're going to exactly have those same conversations with those team members who are going to transition. So our focus isn't going to change on that. We hope that they continue on the progress that we have done. Again, as the senator and the congressman noted earlier, I think one thing that we can agree to in this town is that veterans issues should be nonpartisan.
Right.
And I think that whoever does assume that post, my prayer is that they continue that mantra and that everything they do focuses on that veteran and that surviving family.
What do you think are three of the biggest problems veterans face now, based upon what you hear via feedback?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think with the veterans that I chat with, I think one is just understanding the VA system.
Okay.
Some of them have lost confidence in that system over time. We ran into a Vietnam War veteran who, for years, decades, was denied his benefits. And so when you hear those stories, you're very...
It was just a mistake?
No, it was not a mistake. The system was just very challenging.
Okay, and it just frustrated.
And because of the PACT Act, though,
right,
it eased that burden for us to get to yes for this gentleman.
Okay.
And within months, he was able to receive a 100% disability rating because of the PACT Act. And again, but for 30 and 40 years, he had been denied. But that's one of the challenges, is just navigating this very tough system that many folks aren't really aware of or how to navigate it. That's one of the challenges. Another challenge, I think, from what I've been told from various different veterans, is that, they don't know where to kind of start. Especially after they transition, how do I file for my benefits, or how do I enroll in healthcare, or how do I get my GI Bill benefits, or how do I, get a loan, home loan, and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of things that are coming at you, especially when you're going through that transition phase that, you just don't know.
For those questions, obviously the website helps, but what are other resources that people watching can reach out to?
What we're doing right now is we're trying to work earlier with the Department of Defense to educate our individuals who are in service right now.
Okay.
So I think what we've learned.
Was that done before? Not as much, or not as much?
Not as much. I mean, we have I think great transition programs that DoD and the services run, but I think we need to introduce and educate some of what VA has to offer well earlier in the life cycle of a service member. It's not to get them to depart the military, but to educate them and their families on what is available to them when they actually do depart. again, a lot of things are coming at you in those last stages of your career in uniform. The last thing you want to do is miss some critical pieces on the Veterans Affairs side of the house that's really going to impact you long term. So we're having those discussions with DOD, working with them on a monthly basis to figure out how we can add that into the transition piece much sooner than it is now.
Healthcare is important to everyone, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's especially important for veterans, and the Congressman was talking about mental health challenges. Where do you see the VA healthcare system? Where has it come from, improvements, and where do you think it could improve even further?
Bob, before I took the job, I was not a user of VA healthcare.
Okay.
I came on board, and the first month I'm talking about the remarkable care, and I wasn't a user.
Okay.
And so I had a hospital system. I won't name that system, but what I'll tell you this is when I signed up for my VA healthcare, and the primary care physician and the care team that I have is far superior than the care that I was getting from this other organization. That is exceptional.
Okay.
And I trust my VA healthcare. And what I tell folks is this, is that if you're kind of wondering about how healthcare is right now, give us a shot, give us a call. Mm-hmm. At least see what you're eligible for. Visit your local VA medical center and see if this is a destination you want to call home ultimately. And then give your primary care physician a try.
Okay.
And then if that does not work, there's avenues to get some folks to help you there. I know the senator mentioned earlier the Mission Act and allowing our individuals to go into the community. I'll tell you this, and this is what the secretary has said time and time again. Whether you're getting your care at VA or in the community, we're going to assist our veterans to get the best outcomes, whether that's under us, under our roof, or under the roof of a community partner. We're not going to withhold any veteran from going into the community. So again, I want to make sure that it's crystal clear to our veterans who are watching today that you're going to work or be able to work with your healthcare team to determine what the best outcomes are for you individually.
So that's a two-step process. Number one, you've got to convince a lot of people to try the system.
Absolutely.
That's number one. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, if they do it, is there any data polling that says, yeah, this is, as you said, this is a really good system. It's better than the old system I was under?
Yeah, if you've seen the CMS results over the past 2 years, we are far exceeding even our non-VA healthcare systems. And we don't put these surveys out. We don't take the data. This is independent data that's given to us. So there are hospital systems under the VA umbrella that are far exceeding their counterparts in their communities. Are there some systems in the VA system that need to do more work? Absolutely. When you have a system this large, especially an integrated system this large, again, there's going to be some challenges. And we're putting our fingers on fixing those challenges for our veterans. But again, if there are any veterans out there right now who are wondering about VA healthcare, and is it still the VA of 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it's absolutely not. Again, we have the absolute best clinicians on deck. We're continuing to recruit the absolute best on deck to ensure that when veterans come to VA, that they are treated properly and they get the absolute world-class care that they deserve.
About a minute left. What did I miss? Anything you want to close with going forward, whether it's bipartisanship in a very polarizing time? And
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the last thing I'll say is this, again, we have about 2 months left on deck, Bob.
Right.
And I want folks to know that, we have full intentions to continue to work A+ each and every day till January 19th. So I want our veterans to know that there's still some issues that we're delving into that the secretary has at his highest priorities that we're going to have our attention on until our very last day. And we're not going to be satisfied until we actually accomplish those tasks for our veterans who are moving into the future. Again, this is about veterans helping veterans, and this is very near and dear to me. And again, I'm excited for where VA is going to go into the future.
Very nice. Running through the tape, right?
Absolutely.
Terrence, thank you for joining us. Please thank Terrence. Hey, that was good stuff. Well done.